Imagine finally achieving the American dream of home ownership. 8 years into making timely payments, you discover that you received no credit. Making matters worse, 6 months in, your identity is stolen and your name forged on a government-insured refinance loan that you did not ask for. 14 years later, you're on the sheriff's sales list and facing an illegal foreclosure brought by one of the biggest banks in the world. Throughout years of litigation, tears and stress over insurmountable evidence, you are determined to never give up on your pursuit for justice. This is the story of Charmaine Wright, victim turned advocate. Hello everyone, Clay Owens, spokesperson for Home American Union, where homeowners' lives matter. Today we bring the story of Miss Charmaine Wright, one of the most troubling that you'll ever come across of a homeowner, truly a victim of everything that's wrong with illegal foreclosures and forgery. Miss Wright, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
All right. Well, this is long overdue. I'm glad that we finally taken these steps. We're doing this project right now in conjunction with Homeowners Lives Matter and also Mr. Brother with a camera that's been putting it down for us. For the audience, I just want to open up and let them know a bit about your story. So just give us a bit about who you are, where you come from, that kind of stuff.
Well, my name is Charmaine Wright. I grew up in New Jersey, and actually in Ocean County, New Jersey. Moved to Burlington County approximately maybe about 20 years ago. And in 2007, decided to purchase my first home. Being a single parent, that was a big, deal for me. And I was, really excited about doing that.
Okay. And how did you buy your home? Was it with a mortgage or was it with cash? Was it a combination of both?
Well, I got a mortgage, and also I had monies put aside for a nice down payment so that my payments wouldn't be that high, so I would be able to withstand the mortgage payment by myself.
Got you. And because I am familiar with your situation, correct me if I'm mistaken, the mortgage company that you did the transaction with, the name of the company was Ideal Mortgage, doing business as Linda America. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the date of this transaction was August 10th, 2007?
Yes.
Yep. And you said you put down some money. How much money did you actually put
down? I put
$16,000
down.
16 grand, which made your mortgage balance starting off about how much?
137,000.
Okay. FHA insured, correct?
Correct.
All right. Ms. Wright's transaction being FHA insured means that the government is involved by making sure that if Ms. Wright, for whatever reason, was not able to pay her loan, then the government would step in, the federal government, and make sure that whoever the lender or the one collecting the payments would get paid insurance monies should Ms. Wright default. Okay, so you go into this transaction, you become a first-time home buyer, you execute this mortgage in August of 2007, and you started paying Wells Fargo. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And just give us a breakdown of what happened from the point you started sending your first payments to Wells Fargo. Take us out until August 2007, out until 2014, which is when you and I met.
Well, before that, I noticed that my principal balance went up. It went from 137 to 152. I called Chase to find out why my balance went up, because I knew I had paid put $16,000 down, and I was told I had an escrow shortage on the mortgage. Now,
let me just explain to the audience. An escrow shortage comes about, for example, if there is an increase in your real estate taxes, or if your homeowner's insurance premiums go up. Your mortgage company typically has what's called an escrow account, which will go towards real property taxes, homeowner's insurance. So those are two items that have to be paid monthly along with principal and interest. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead, go for it. So you said you contacted Chase. So that means along the line somehow you went from paying Wells Fargo to paying Chase. Is that correct?
Yes, because
Okay.
I was informed that my mortgage company had changed from Wells Fargo, transferred over to Chase.
And that communication informing you of this transfer was from who?
It came from Ideal
Ideal
Mortgage.
Mortgage, right?
Right.
Around April 2008, if I'm not mistaken, you
Yes,
got the
that's
letter
correct.
saying, hey, no longer make payments to Wells Fargo, start making payments to Chase.
Correct.
Right. So you started paying Chase in June of 2008. And along the way, you said you were curious as to why your balance went from the 137 that it originally was when you purchased the house back in '07. And the reason why it was 137 because you came to the table with 16,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So all you wanted to know from Chase was how did I go from 137 to 152? And Chase's explanation was again what?
I had a shortage in my
A
escrow.
shortage in your escrow. Okay, so what happened from there? Just give me an idea what happened from there. I think you said that you had reached out to Chase and asked them for some kind of modification assistance.
Yeah, I asked for modification assistance, and they denied me, of course.
Okay.
And I went and started doing my research and found out there was a program, New Jersey Homekeepers, that I can get involved with to help me, with assist me with some of the back mortgage that I owe.
Alleged back money
mortgage.
that you owed. Right.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
And how much was that program through New Jersey Homekeepers? How much monies did they provide?
$47,000.
And they paid that money to Chase.
They paid it
Money
directly to Chase.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So at this point, you're going on. You're continuing to pay Chase. They just got 47,000 from New Jersey Homekeepers. They told you the reason why your balance went from 137 to 152 was because you were short on the escrow, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then me and you meet through a mutual friend in August of 2014, and that's when things got very, very strange and crazy, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Folks, now I'm going to show you guys the importance of checking your title, going down and looking at the land records to see what's going on with your home, because look what we discovered in Miss Wright's case. The only mortgage signed by Miss Charmaine Wright on August 10, 2007 was discharged upon Wells Fargo hiring DocSex LLC out of Alpharetta, Georgia, to create a mortgage release and satisfaction that was recorded on April 23, 2008, wherein it designates Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems as the party discharging Miss Wright's original purchase mortgage. Again, this document was created by DocSex LLC, the same company whose key executive, Lorraine Brown, was sentenced to federal prison in 2012 upon her admitting to creating over 1 million forged and falsely notarized documents throughout land records across America, similar to the discharge instrument that discharged Ms. Wright's original purchase mortgage in 2008. We also discovered an assignment of mortgage created by JPMorgan Chase and recorded in 2012, where JPMorgan Chase is claiming that Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems, aka MERS, assigned Ms. Wright's original purchase mortgage to JPMorgan Chase on January 24, 2012, nearly 4 years after the original purchase mortgage was already discharged by instrument created by Wells Fargo and DocSex in 2008. So I come from the county clerk's office with these discoveries, where now we see that the only mortgage you ever admit to signing with Lend America back on August 10th, 2007 was discharged, canceled. Crazy. And on top of that, JPMorgan Chase had created an assignment of mortgage claiming that 4 years after your mortgage was discharged, they claimed that MERS, as the agent for Lend America, transferred the already discharged mortgage to Chase in 2012. How did that make you feel when you seen all of this?
Well, that's made I started thinking maybe that's probably why my balance went up. I started thinking that something has to be wrong. Uh, you know, I didn't really know until, I met you, of a lot of the discrepancies. And that led me to contact Chase and ask them to send over some documents so we could see exactly what was going on.
Right. Now, folks, if you think that first part was crazy, wait till you see what Miss Wright received by fax from JPMorgan Chase on October 6, 2014. An altered copy of Miss Wright's original purchase mortgage, where the discharge stamp seen on the recorded version is whited out on the version faxed to us by Chase on October 6, 2014. Also included in the fax was the assignment of mortgage instrument, which I discovered back in August of 2014. And said instrument declares that JPMorgan Chase was assigned Miss Wright's original purchase mortgage from MERS on January 24, 2012, after Miss Wright's mortgage was already discharged by instrument dated in March of 2008 and recorded in April of 2008. Also included in the fax was a promissory note with a date of February 18, 2008, designating Linda Marica as the lender, with an FHA insured case number. And as displayed on page 2 of the note is Miss Wright's alleged signature. We also see at the bottom a purported endorsement by Linda Marica paid to the order of Chase, where Chase is claiming ownership of a refinance promissory note. We also had included in the fax from Chase federal disclosures for the February 18, 2008 transaction, with multiple versions of Miss Wright's alleged signature fixed thereupon. Last but not least, Chase also included in the fax an alleged loan modification agreement for the February 18, 2008 refinance transaction, which sets forth an effective date in December of 2010, a new alleged balance of $152,000, along with Miss Wright's alleged signature on November 2nd, 2010. Now, it was already bad enough that you discovered that, again, the only mortgage you ever gave to Linda Marica, being named as your lender, was discharged without your knowledge, without your permission, in 2008. And 4 years after that discharge, Chase is claiming ownership by way of an assignment. So we get back this fax and we compare the mortgage recorded at the clerk with the discharge stamp at top, compared with Chase sending us back an altered version of that mortgage where they whited out the discharge. And then on top of that, they even gave you the assignment. But worse is that 2008, dated, if I'm not mistaken, exactly February 18th, 2008, where your name shows up, and according to you, that's not your signature. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, because please tell the audience, and you're claiming this, and you've claimed it under penalty of perjury in multiple courts, that you never asked for the refinance. Is that correct?
Correct. And I would have never asked for a refinance 5-6 months after I purchased the home.
Right.
I had nothing to gain from it. So, why would I do that?
Right. For $70 more than the original mortgage that you took out. Who does a refinance for an extra $70 6 months in? Correct. And then, as we discovered through the facts, there was no mortgage included for the forged refinance dated February 18, 2008. In other words, it had never been recorded. Correct. You also went through the disclosure documents that they forged your name on for the refinance. Correct me if I'm mistaken. One of the disclosures that Chase sent over in the 2014 fax, it was a HUD-1 settlement statement that said you went to closing in New York.
Correct.
Right.
And I've never been.
You
went
never,
to New York
never.
for a
That's
closing.
100+ miles away. Who goes to do a refinance,
Finance.
folks? Who does a refinance 6 months after they buy their home for $70 more, and then travels 100 miles to do the refinance? I mean, that's just crazy. So you discovered these discrepancies. The only mortgage you ever took out, it was discharged without your knowledge and consent. Then this made you look into your files, and you found that letter from Wells Fargo saying, congratulations, your loan has been paid off. But as you said many a times, you ignored that letter, or not ignored it, you threw it to the side because you knew you never paid your loan off. Correct. And here it is. You have Chase, one of the biggest banks in the world, claiming ownership of 2 mortgages at the same time. One of them you did not sign. So, I mean, what did you do next after that? What happened after that?
Well, I've decided to bring I consulted with a couple attorneys about it, and decided, because my name was forged on a whole refinance mortgage, I decided I was going to file a lawsuit and take them to court.
Okay, and you filed the first lawsuit in 2014, right? Shortly after you got that fax from Chase. So in other words, you didn't sit back and wait and play. No, you said, no, someone stole my identity and forged my name. Let me take action, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And with that being said, I also, with filing the lawsuit, because I was claiming that I did not sign those papers, I paid an expert, forensic handwriting expert, so that it could be documented, because I knew for sure that was not my signature.
Right.
So I went on and pursued and got an handwriting expert report.
Right. And his name is Kurt Baggett, and that report basically detailed that the documents associated with the February 18th, 2008 refi, your name was forged, because he took a look at your real signature and he compared it to the documents for the forged refinance, and he concluded that someone indeed forged your signature.
Correct.
So along the way, if I'm not mistaken, you went through 2 attorneys to sue Chase. You didn't have good experiences with those attorneys. Nope. And Judge Baldwin from the New Jersey Superior Court, he eventually dismissed your case against Chase without prejudice, which, folks, for y'all that don't know, that means that you can bring it back if it's dismissed without prejudice.
Correct.
So he dismisses this case. And in that case, correct me if I'm mistaken, Parker, Abraham, and Berg was the law firm that Chase hired to defend them, right?
Correct.
And in that defense, they never mentioned the forged refi. They were still claiming ownership of the discharge mortgage by claiming it was assigned to them 4 years after the discharge, correct?
Correct.
Right. And then you filed bankruptcy in 2015, right?
Correct.
A Chapter 7.
Correct.
And you listed the account number for the forged refi.
Correct.
Okay. And Chase hired Felon, Holloman, and Smig to make a notice of appearance. And what did they say in their notice of appearance? They were showing up for which mortgage?
The first mortgage.
The first mortgage that had already been discharged. Right. So you're in bankruptcy. You get an order, I believe, in August of 2015 from the bankruptcy court, which canceled the debt for the forged refi.
Yes.
At which time there was no mortgage recorded for
Nope.
it. Okay. All right. So then in September of 2016, what happens?
They filed a foreclosure against.
Who filed a foreclosure?
Chase.
Chase files a foreclosure, and now in their foreclosure filed September 9th, 2016, they're claiming ownership of the forged 2008 refi.
Correct.
Right? And in their complaint, they say MERS, as nominee for Lend America, assigned the note and mortgage to Chase September 8th, 2016, a day before they filed the complaint, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But at that time, we checked the county recorder's records, and the forged refi still hadn't been recorded.
Nope.
Now, folks, the importance of this refinance dated February 18, 2008, with Ideal Mortgage doing business as Lend America, listed as the lender. The importance of these dates is that Ideal Mortgage was shut down by New York and the federal government in December of '09. It was forced into a Chapter 7, an involuntary Chapter 7 bankruptcy in November of 2010, and then its key executives were criminally charged by federal authorities shortly thereafter. So the question now becomes, how can Chase claim that they have a right to foreclose on a mortgage from a company that was already out of business and the mortgage had never been recorded when they filed the complaint in 2016? So
that's my question.
That's your question.
Especially when the company that we're talking about here is a criminal company.
Right.
Executors getting sentenced to jail,
Right.
getting for bank fraud, for the mortgage fraud. I mean, this is not, something that's a big secret here in the United States.
Right.
It just has happened.
Right.
It just happened to me.
Right. Being that you brought that point up, I always equate when you have evidence of a company, in this case, Ideal Mortgage, being criminally charged for bank fraud, is being documented that they were stealing monies and creating refinances against people. It's almost akin to a serial child molester, where it's already documented by the government that this guy is hurting kids out here, and then they show up at the playground. In other words, like, they have a track record. It's already documented that this is what they do. But moving on. So the foreclosure's going along. You did have a hearing with Judge Dow at some point, and according to the transcripts that you and I reviewed, even though she wouldn't dismiss Chase's foreclosure, she did find that there was some problems. Tell the viewers about what some of the things Judge Dow said real quick.
Yeah, she just told them that, she sees some discrepancies in their note and mortgage, that there was a problem, and that she suggested that they sit down and have a case management conference with me and see if we could work something out. Right.
And that was about 2016. And then you did sit with Parker, Ibrahim, and Berg, and they didn't want to budge. And then in March, I believe, of 2017, we found out again that a new document had been recorded on the title. And that document was an affidavit of lost mortgage dated October 2009, but recorded in 2017. And it says it's coming from Miss Gwen Lucas as a president for Ideal Mortgage or Lend America. And it's saying that the actual refinance mortgage was lost or destroyed.
Correct.
Crazy. So here it is. Chase is trying to foreclose on a mortgage, but then a year after they bring the foreclosure, they record an affidavit dated in '09 by a woman that says she works for Lend America, and she's saying that the original refi mortgage was lost or destroyed. Correct. And then she says a true copy is included with the affidavit. And tell the viewers, is that your signature on that mortgage that got recorded in 2017?
No, that's not my signature.
It's not. Yeah.
No.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Been looked at too as well, so it's been documented. That's not
your signature.
No.
Okay, and then folks, I just want to say to the audience again, Ideal Mortgage is already shut down as of 2009. Bankrupt, and its executives criminally charged thereafter. So this affidavit of lost mortgage being recorded in 2017 after this company was already shut down is even more of a problem. Moving on. So at some point you hire another attorney, this time to defend you in the foreclosure, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And eventually JPMorgan Chase, through Parker, Ibrahim, and Berg, they file what's called a motion for summary judgment, where they say to the court, hey, there's no need for us to go to a trial. There's no issues in dispute. We should just be able to proceed with final judgment in sheriff's cell. Correct? That was around January 2019. Y'all went before the court for a summary judgment, right?
Correct.
Right. And the judge ruled against you.
Correct.
Right. Do you feel you were represented well by the attorney?
No, the lawyer, with all the facts, and they weren't even addressed. My signature being forged, never talked about in court. No, none of these things were brought up.
Right.
it was, and I even tried to talk one time in the court, and the judge told me, I don't want to hear from you. It was
And this is
one-sided.
Judge Kathy Fiamingo, who replaced Judge Dow.
Correct.
Right. And I also remember, after looking at your transcripts, it was raised by your attorney upon you and now telling him that in 2018, Chase had created an assignment of mortgage.
Correct.
That said MERS, as the agent for Lend America, assigned the mortgage to Chase on March 6, 2018. 2 years after Chase brought a foreclosure claiming they already had the forged refinance in their possession.
Correct.
Right. I also want to point out to the audience one of the big discrepancies with this assignment. Not only does MERS not have any documents, as well documented on our website at holmusa.org, but also it's claiming that MERS assigned the mortgage in 2018 after the affidavit was recorded in 2017 stating that the mortgage was already lost as of 2009.
Correct. So how do
You can't make this stuff up.
I'm telling you.
And then last but not least, one of the more troubling things that I've ever seen in 10 plus years of looking at this stuff is the email communication that Chase messed up and connected to the assignment of mortgage, where it shows that Felon Holloman and Smig, the law firm that was involved with the foreclosure, that they were asking Chase, do you want us to create the assignment of mortgage? And the guy, Eric Bird from Chase, that's on the email thread, his signature is actually on the assignment saying he works for MERS, assigning a loan to the company he worked for. Crazy. Okay, so eventually they get final judgment against you in December of 2021.
Yes, correct.
Right. And did that get answered by your attorney or?
No, he never answered it.
Answered it.
Never answered it.
Never answered it.
So I'm in the appeals process right now.
Right. So you're currently in appeal, right? You filed an appeal.
Correct.
As of yesterday, correct?
Correct.
Because along the line, you hired the attorney to file the appeal, and he didn't do what he was supposed to do, so it got dismissed twice.
Right, correct.
So you had to ask the court to reinstate it.
Right.
And they reinstated it, and they gave you until yesterday to file your appeal brief, correct?
Correct.
Right, so it got filed. And but before we even address the appeal, you were on the sheriff's cell list up until September of 2022 this year, correct?
Correct.
And through the grace of God, it's been stayed.
Right.
Yes.
And not only that, is like, just to backtrack just a little bit, I'm in the appeals process, and you can't bring up things that weren't addressed in your actual trial court. And one thing that I did discover by talking to Chase a couple months ago, just like 2 months prior, October, correct, that they don't have anything to do with this loan as of May of 2020. So how do I have a final judgment in the name of Chase in December of 2021 when the representative from Chase said they don't have anything to do with my loan since May of 2020?
Because they said they transferred
services and they have nothing else to do with it.
And they transferred it to who?
Carrington
Mortgage Services. Got you.
Recorded. We recognize your phone number and it is associated with your loan. Please enter the last 4 digits of your social security number, then press pound. Thank you for calling Carrington. This is with you.
Hi, this is Charmaine Wright.
And this is Wright. How can I be of assistance to you today?
I'm calling because I'm disputing a transaction that was associated with this account number. So, and my identity was stolen, and my name was forged on documents. Can you pull it up? What do you need to pull the loan up?
Yeah, absolutely. Would definitely appreciate you making the time to call me. I'll be happy to look into this with you.
Okay.
Just state your full name and your mailing address for me.
It's Charmaine Wright. I want to give someone permission to speak on that I have with me to speak about this loan. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Here he is.
No problem at all. What's the party's name?
Clarence Owens.
Clarence Owens, I believe. Okay, perfect. I can go ahead and talk with him.
Okay.
Hello, how you doing?
Okay. Hi, Mr. Owens. This is Tanika Bellamy on a recorded line with Carrington Mortgage and Services. How can I help today?
Yes. Now, who is the original lender and the date for when the loan was allegedly signed by Miss Wright?
Yes, sir. Let's see. It says the original lender was Land America.
Okay. And
and it says it originated on February 18th of 2008.
Okay. All right. And my next question for you is, who is the current owner? Sometimes they say the investor for the loan. And what date did they take ownership and from whom? Like, was it sent from Land America?
It was originated with Land America, but it's a FHA loan, so it's a government-backed loan. That's I guess the investor that owns it would be FHA.
Okay, so you don't show anything like Ginnie Mae or Fannie Mae or a pool number?
I show FHA.
Or just FHA? Nothing that says investor number?
No.
Okay, no pool number. Okay.
The owner/investor is FHA.
Okay, so you don't show JPMorgan Chase because there's an active foreclosure where they're listed as the owner.
Mm-hmm.
I show that JPMorgan Chase at some point was involved, and I have them listed in here as well, but they weren't at the origination. So let me see when they got involved. Give me one moment.
All right, thank you so much.
No worries. Okay, so it looks like we actually inherited the loan from JPMorgan Chase on May 18th of 2020. So JPMorgan Chase may have been the servicing company on behalf of FHA that started the foreclosure, if that's what you're mentioning. But FHA is the investor on this loan.
All right, so right now, you guys, who are you guys? Like, what do you guys do? Like, do you?
We're now just a servicing company, so we're just taking over where JPMorgan were in place. So again, FHA owns it. JPMorgan was servicing it on behalf of FHA, which is what we're doing. We're servicing it on behalf of FHA.
Okay, so you're servicing on behalf. So FHA, you're saying owns it, but you don't have, because you didn't tell me the date when Land America sold it to FHA. Correct? You don't have that date.
FHA has been involved since origination, since day one.
Yeah,
the loan was predicated with FHA. Okay.
I understand it, and I know a little bit in terms of like FHA's role in terms of endorsing FHA insured loans to where they'll be the one that are insured in the event of default. But normally what happens is that, like, you know, the loan designates Land America as the lender, and and Miss Wright actually, she opened up and said she's disputing the transaction because the documents that she was sent from Chase, it actually like has her name and all that good stuff forged on it, and she never asked for this transaction. Ideal Mortgage, Land America, they actually were shut down, and some of his key executives were sentenced to federal prison for bank fraud. And it looks like Ms. Wright is one of the victims that got caught up in this.
This call will be monitored and recorded, and your voice may be used for verification. Welcome to Chase. To access your Chase account by Social Security number, press 1. Press 2. Please enter your 9-digit Social Security number. Next, enter your mailing address, zip code. Your loan has been transferred to another servicer. Please refer to the letter your new servicer sent you. To speak with a specialist, press 0. One moment while we connect your call. Are you there?
Yes.
And who am I speaking with?
This is Charmaine Wright.
So, how can I help you, ma'am?
Okay, I'm calling because I'm disputing some transactions that was associated with my account number because my identity was stolen.
Of course.
Right. And name forged on documents. So I have someone here that wants to speak on my behalf. Do you mind talking with this person?
Can you give me their name?
It's Clarence Owens.
All right. Mr. Owens, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So what can I do for you?
Yes, she opened up. She told you guys that she disputes the transaction because she says her identity was stolen and her name forged on docs.
So you're saying this loan is, the whole thing is fraudulent?
Yes. I've been saying that.
Did you become aware that this account existed?
In 2014.
Yep.
That's when she first called Chase about it, and they faxed over some documents to her. And she's been telling them all along, and it's, I don't know, for whatever reasons, it's falling on deaf ears.
Would you mind telling me when you found out this mortgage was in your name?
I knew the mortgage was in my name in 2014. See, when y'all faxed me the FHA actual application, because it came from you guys, I looked at it and I'm like, this is not my signature. I had those documents sent to a forensic expert to analyze, and there's no way, no how that report came back. That is not Miss Wright's signature. I know I took out a mortgage. I did not have a problem paying my mortgage. I was up to date until I found out about this stuff. The problem here was I was making payments. It ain't showing nowhere on my credit report I got any credits for that.
From 2008 to 2014, she got no credit for the payments that Chase collected.
On my credit report. It's crazy.
And that's when she woke up to, hold on, something's wrong.
Thank you. I'm just looking at all the notes. Oh dear. I am so sorry that you are going through this, ma'am.
So not only do you have a final judgment being entered against you in December of 2021 in the name of Chase, where Stern, Laventhoff, and Frankfurt filed final judgment December 3rd, 2021, claiming that they were representing Chase.
Correct.
But you have a recorded phone call from Chase in October of 2022 admitting that they didn't have anything to do with your loan since May of 2020. Wow. So let the viewers know about the fraud complaint that you filed with the Inspector General for Housing and Urban Development, known as HUD. You filed that report October 20th of this year, correct?
Yeah, correct. We just put together, I got together with some people, and we put together a whistleblower sort of like, file, documenting all the facts and putting together all the evidence, putting all the exhibits, everything I've been using over the last 8 years,
right,
trying to get some justice over here,
right,
for my housing situation. Because it's just going unnoticed and not heard, and I'm not getting any answers from anywhere.
Right.
So,
and the importance behind, so that the audience knows, with you doing this complaint to HUD, is because one, HUD already notified Chase back in 2012 that, hey, we caught on to you submitting false insurance claims for FHA insured loans, which was part of the national mortgage settlement from April of 2012, which involved Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and others submitting false insurance claims and using fraudulent documents in the foreclosure process, particularly with FHA insured loans, which is the case with your original mortgage from 2007 and the forged refi from 2008. Correct. And also, who were some of the parties that you also copied on this report to HUD?
The Attorney General
for New Jersey,
right. Sheriff's Department, the actual lawyers that were involved in the case, Parker, Abraham, and Berg, Stern, and Laventhal.
The FBI,
I
the
copied
DOJ,
on it. Department of Justice is copied on
Federal
it.
Trade Commission,
Trade Commission, our politicians, I've copied them on it as well.
Who was that? That was Andy Kim
and
Senator Cory Booker.
Correct.
Locally, our New Jersey representatives, Troy Singleton, I believe, was copied on it. Have you heard anything from HUD or any of these people?
I haven't gotten any calls, any letters mailed, nothing. There's nothing going on right now with it.
Man.
And that's really troublesome for me, because I would think, with something of that magnitude, someone would have at least contacted me to have at least a conversation with me about what's going on.
Right, and especially when you're screaming to the top of your lungs under penalty of perjury, meaning that if you're telling a fib in court, and you also filed criminal charges years ago, and law enforcement ignored you.
Correct.
Even contacted it. I was there when you contacted the FBI.
Correct.
And they said nothing. With all of that said, to the viewers, to the world at large, what is your main objective? What are you hoping to accomplish at the end of the day?
That justice, like someone finally hears me and something is done about the injustice of someone forging my name, fraudulently signing my name to a whole mortgage that I never did. I just set out to buy a house, put down money, and I feel like, you know, I was just scammed out of money, out of my time. You know, this causes a lot of stress, you know, not knowing from 1 minute to the next where you're going to be, because I can be put out of here at any time. And I know that, you know, it was done unjustly, you know, and I'm looking at the same documents that my tax dollars are paying for these people to sit up in these courts and look at and not judge make an opinion based on how they feel or what they think. It's based on what's the facts and the law. And that's not being done. So I'm hoping that, you know, a lot of people out there hear me. Maybe some people will take a look at their own mortgages, because I'm quite sure I'm not the only one that this has happened to. And maybe that's why they don't want it to get out. I don't know. But I've been fighting this for 8 years, and I'm going to continue to fight. I'm not going to give up, because, you know, this was a big investment of mine, and I'm not just going to walk away.
Right. And one of the things that we forgot to address that is very important is that you made payments for nearly 8 years. You only stopped paying Chase in August of 2014 when you met me and discovered these issues. And you didn't get any credit for 8 years of payments on your credit report. So you look like a baby.
Yeah, no mortgage reported, no payments reported on my credit report. And also, I would have continued paying, but we discovered we didn't know where the money was going, because it wasn't going. I couldn't see where the money was going.
Because you know for certain you got no credit.
No credit
on your credit report.
No credit for the payments that I had already made.
Yeah, Equifax, Experian, it is not showing up.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. And that's why when I applied for a new FHA, I got approved for a new mortgage.
Oh, because you recently tried to qualify for another mortgage and was able to, because nothing's showing on your credit.
Nothing showing up, nothing.
But you weren't able to get the FHA loan because you're still showing in the system as having an FHA loan because of the 2008 forgery.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
Well, it's definitely been a pleasure on this journey, you and I, together, really seeking justice. I'm glad that you have the courage to not give up and the fortitude to keep going, because as you said, you and I know of multiple people who lost their lives stressing, that have actually died or have gotten sick, you know. So, you know, I just very, very, very much thank you for not giving up, pushing, for letting the world hear your story and making sure that justice is done, because you, like others, your life matter. It matters. That's why we call our organization Homeowners Lives Matter. You know,
Thank you.
You got it. So, folks, this is one story that has to get out there. Miss Wright's story is documented in our petition, in the Home American Union petition that has been addressed to our state and federal representatives. It's one of many stories, horror stories, and probably one of the worst that you'll ever come across. And here it is, you have someone who sought the American dream of home ownership, and to no doing of her own, her dream has turned into a nightmare. And folks, the things that we tell you, the things that we show you are well documented on our website at holmusa.org, where you can go and see where our government has already documented that this is exactly what Chase and the other big banks have been doing. And they were told to stop. But folks, they're not stopping. So with that said, we have to make sure that justice is done, because if what is happening to Charmaine can go down, none of you out there are safe. Okay? So with that said, please make this story go viral. Check us out at holmusa.org. Become a member, join our fight, because homeowners' lives matter. God bless.